Most professionals think that they hesitate because they lack confidence, when in reality, confidence is only a small part of the situation. When you're in a meeting or some type of presentation and a thought appears in your mind, generally what intelligent people do is they think even more about it. They try to come up with the perfect way to contribute rather than entering into the conversation with less than all of the details that thought might carry with it. And that is why intelligent people usually hesitate more often than not. It's not because we're poor communicators. It's usually because we're striving for perfection. And while that's a good thing in many respects, oftentimes this creates a hesitation loop where you fail to contribute consistently enough and the conversation continues to move forward. Now, in a meeting, this can be very detrimental. A lot of times when big decisions are being made, your input matters. So getting lost in the detail, the minutia in your mind, is oftentimes not a very good thing to do. And that's the thing. We look for details, we look for angles, we look for hidden possibilities. All the while, the topic begins to shift and the conversation evolves into something much different. And so when you're looking to enter into a conversation, to contribute in such a way that makes impact, focus on shortening that hesitation, that delay, as much as possible. Because communication begins with a thought. It does not begin by simply blurting something out, although some people could say that is communication. But what ends up happening is when you shorten that delay, you move from striving for perfection and you move into exploration. The thought does not have to be fully fledged, every single angle completely figured out before offering that input. It just needs to be enough to steer the conversation in a way that explores that thought so that other people can contribute to it as well. And then as the conversation begins to move in that direction, then those additional thoughts and angles and discussion points, they can come out more naturally within the conversation that is growing. And so intelligent people have all of the input, all of the detail, all of that at the ready. Just there's generally that hesitation that happens in the moment. And so move away from looking at communication as a professional in these meeting settings as a confidence issue. It is more a moving the thought into the contribution issue, if you will. And this can greatly be changed, it can be managed, it can be learned so that you are contributing in changing the way you communicate in such a way that it's more participative with other people rather than having your full monologue at the ready for people to digest when you see fit. Okay? So communication in professional settings in the meeting environment is oftentimes a give and take, is oftentimes happening very quickly, and is oftentimes very high stakes. And so we have to realize that although the pressure builds, we have to look for clarity within that pressure. And so just like an avalanche where the little bit of snow just continues to cascade down and get bigger and bigger and bigger, that can work in two different ways. You could continue to look for the perfect thing to say, and then continually inputting and contributing to conversations, which creates a bigger snowball of fear, anxiety, and hesitation. Or you could do it in reverse. You could begin by offering just a little, like a half thought, a half contribution at selective, appropriate times, and get used to not always having the complete picture at the ready. When you do that, you will learn that over time, that complete picture evolves and grows as a consequence of doing it this way, doing it the long way, the more, deliberate way, as opposed to coming up with the perfect thing and then delivering it. And so hesitation in this looping format, which is a very consistent pattern that we see across all kinds of professional environments, is something that can be easily curtailed, minimized, and replaced by something much more effective. So converting that thought into a contribution by delaying the time between thought and contribution is a great initial step to becoming more executively influential in your environment, your professional ones, and even in other ones as well. Because now you don't have to have everything figured out. Now you take that step in admitting to everybody around you that I don't know completely what it is I'm trying to say, but this is an initial thought that I think might have some input. And people will respect that, and then we'll all work collaboratively together to come to an effective solution. That is how effective communication can arise in these types of contexts. So, if you're interested in learning how to become a better professional communicator, how to reduce the hesitancy and contribute seamlessly and effectively with impact, then I would highly recommend that you consider subscribing, because here at Raisona Voce, it's all dedicated to that, improving your professional communication. And so remember, next time when you're in a high pressure situation, you don't have to have all the answers. You just have to contribute something. And from there, all the answers may become evident. I'll see you in the next one.